Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. This is your Z107.7 Local News for Saturday, February 7th, 2026. It's the weekend of the big game, the giant football matchup, the championship bowl featuring two pro teams going head-to-head. If you hear me dancing around using the term Super Bowl, I'm just having a little bit of fun because news agencies are able to use the term Super Bowl freely as long as you aren't doing it in any commercial purpose. And the only reason I'm mentioning it today is because I'm taking an early cue from sports fans to talk some trash, specifically trash and recycling in Yucca Valley, though the info pertains to almost all Birds Eye customers. At the last Yucca Valley Town Council meeting, Senior Management Analyst Jessica Rice shared an update on the state-mandated bill that was signed into law by Governor Jerry Brown in 2016. That State Bill 1383 aims to reduce methane emissions from decomposing organic waste in landfills. Rolling out that program meant an additional bin and an additional cost for Birds Eye customers, along with what some could say was a less than positive public reception when the program began in 2024. However, time marches forward and the green buckets have been collecting that organic waste. And last year, Yucca Valley residents diverted 292 tons of organic material from the landfill, along with 1,300 tons of recycling. Yucca Valley businesses diverted 470 tons of organic waste and over 1,800 tons of recycling. A note on the trucks that pick up those green bins: it may look like the green organic waste is just getting dumped in with the recycling, but there's actually a divider inside the truck which keeps them separate. Yucca Valley residents can also contact Birtech up to 4 times a year to have a large appliance or other bulky item like a mattress picked up curbside. 869 mattresses were picked up last year that way, along with 1,100 other metal items that made their way to the landfill rather than the middle of a wash somewhere. These programs are on the tax roll for most Yucca Valley residents, so if you aren't taking advantage of some of them, you may be missing out on some free services. There's also an upcoming oil filter swap at the AutoZone in Yucca Valley and a community cleanup where you can bring electronic waste, tires, and other big items and get some free compost created from those organics that you've kept out of the landfill. We'll have dates for all those activities and links to everything mentioned here at Z107.7FM.com. Today is the final day of King of the Hammers, the annual off-roading event at the Johnson Valley OHV area north of Landers. And here's News Director Jeff Harmatz to tell you what to expect out on our local roads.
The King of the Hammers event brings hundreds of thousands of competitors and onlookers to the high desert, some of whom camp for weeks at. The King of the Hammers has been running since late January, and attendees trickle in over the course of several weeks. But as the event concludes, expect many attendees to head back to their homes for work on Monday. That means our area highways, particularly in Landers, Yucca Valley, and Morongo Valley, will be jam-packed with trucks, towing vehicles, motorhomes, and other heavy gear. As locals know, our highways can be dangerous even for experienced drivers. Old Woman Springs Road in particular is a notoriously dangerous, windy 2-lane highway with limited visibility at several points. Just on Thursday at around 2:30 p.m., California Highway Patrol officers responded to an injury collision involving 2 vehicles on Old Woman Springs Road and Boone Road. This intersection serves as one of the primary entry and exit points for the King of the Hammers event. If you plan to be driving this weekend in the Morongo Basin, take extra caution and keep an eye out for big vehicles or large trailers carrying off-road vehicles. If you have somewhere to be, plan for extra time as part of your trip. And as always, drive safely. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Jeff Harmatz.
Thanks, Jeff. A fatal collision occurred on Old Woman Springs Road involving a marked Bureau of Land Management vehicle. On Thursday, February 5th at around 1 a.m., the California Highway Patrol reports that a vehicle broke down on the northbound shoulder of Old Woman Springs Road just south of Ghost Road near Landers. The CHP says that a man associated with the vehicle was crossing the highway when he was struck by a marked Bureau of Land Management patrol vehicle. The collision occurred in the southbound lane of traffic. The pedestrian suffered from fatal injuries, and the male driver of the BLM vehicle sustained moderate injuries. The name of the deceased has yet to be released by the San Bernardino County Coroner's Office. The Bureau of Land Management invites public and stakeholder input on off-highway vehicle grant proposals for submission to the California State Parks Off-Highway Motor Vehicle Recreation Grant Cycle. These grants support off-highway vehicle management activities, including visitor services, law enforcement, resource protection, planning and monitoring, and maintenance on BLM-managed public lands. Public comments must be submitted to the appropriate field office by March 2nd. The BLM will host several in-person and virtual meetings. Attendees can join online, by phone, or in person. The Palm Springs South Coast Field Office will be holding their meeting on Tuesday, February 17th from 4 to 5 p.m. We'll have info on how you can join at this story on our website. The 29 Palms Art Gallery is hosting a reception for 2 new shows tonight. And with a look at that show, we're joined by modern artist Jeff Harmatz.
Featured in The West Wing is a show from photographer Tim Walters called 5 Acres of Heaven, Photographs from Wonder Valley. His photos document the remnants of post-World War II homesteaders in Wonder Valley, as well as their successors. Walters describes himself as a photographer, musician, digital artist, and Jeopardy loser. The East Gallery features photographer Deanna Valdez, who worked as a commercial photographer for 38 years. In 2021, she devised a technique that made her images more abstract with vibrant colors and textures. You can see those today. The 29 Palms Art Gallery is open all day, and reception hospitality will be served on the gallery patio from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The public is invited to attend and meet the artists. Admission is free, and if you miss the show today, it will be open through February. The 29 Palms Art Gallery is located at 74055 Cottonwood Drive in 29 Palms. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Jeff Harmatz.
Tonight at the Harrison House, a special farewell performance for Giant Riley, who will be performing music from the album he released in the early pandemic titled Shelter in Space. Riley will be joined by guitarist Phil Smith, bass player Jane Cowan, and drummer Danny Frankel to perform songs from the album, many of which have never been performed live. Giant Riley's genre-defined music is described as blending classical, jazz, folk, and avant-garde genres, and he recently returned from a 4-month tour with Paul Simon. Giant has graced Lou Harrison House audiences over the years, including as the 2023-24 Residency Fellow when he became a permanent resident of Joshua Tree. However, this will be his final public performance in the Morongo Basin before moving out of state. Tickets for this evening's performance at 7 p.m. are available on a sliding scale for a suggested donation of $20 to $50. The Harrison House encourages you to come out early and enjoy one of their famous garden meals of soup and salad, available from 6:30 p.m. for a $20 donation. The Lou Harrison House is located at 6881 Mount Lassen Avenue, just east of Joshua Tree. You can head to louharrisonhouse.org for tickets and info. And Joshua Tree National Park now has wildlife food and water cache boxes available for hikers and backpackers along the California Riding and Hiking Trail, or CRHT. These lockers help protect wildlife, reduce trash, and help keep the desert landscape healthy while giving backpackers a safer way to cache water for multi-day trips. Lockers are located at the Geology Tour Road Trailhead, Ryan Campground Connector Trailhead where the CRHT meets Ryan Campground, and Juniper Flats Trailhead and Upper Covington Flats. You can store water in these lockers to reduce the amount of animals that are chewing through plastic jugs and containers for access. There's no natural water sources inside Joshua Tree National Park, and storing water is a piece of preparation that can help make hikes safer and more accessible. You can visit the Joshua Tree National Park's website for more information on these caches at nps.gov/JOTR. And that's your local news for Saturday. You can hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. More Morongo Basin residents get their local news from Z107.7 than any other source. Broadcasting from Joshua Tree, California, I'm Robert Hayden.